Happy New Year! When it comes to New Year's, we often reflect on the year that we just passed and look forward to what is to come. So we're going to do that right now. This fall, we started at the very beginning of the Bible, and we paused a little bit to remember the king that was born in Bethlehem. This January, we're going to pick up where we left off.
All right, it's time to start the show. We made it through the entire Pentateuch, and we sure learned a lot.
That's right. The Pentateuch is the first 5 books of the Bible. Clive and Ian, can you name them?
Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers.
Read a little every day before you slumber.
Cap it all off with a trip through
Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy, Deuteronomy.
Very good. That's the Pentateuch, 5 books that tell the story of the whole world, how God created the universe, how he created Adam and Eve, and how they fell, how they broke their relationships with God and broke God's creation by ignoring him, by going their own way.
That's a little thing called sin.
Right. Sin means we can no longer be with God. Sin brought death to our relationships and to God's creation.
But God has a rescue plan, a plan to save us from sin and death.
The Pentateuch tells the story of God launching his rescue plan by promising a guy named Abraham that his kids will become God's nation and get their own land. A holy land for a holy nation.
Holy means set apart for God.
Right. Holy doesn't mean better than.
It means different than, set apart for God.
So by the end of the Pentateuch, God has saved Abraham's descendants, the children of Israel, from slavery in Egypt. He's given them lots and lots of rules for how to be set apart, to be holy, and has brought them to the very edge of the Promised Land.
Where they get stuck.
For 40 years. Then what happens?
That's it, the end of the Pentateuch.
Can I sing a song summarizing all that?
We did that in the last show, remember? The riverboat?
Oh, rats.
So what's next? What comes after the Pentateuch?
Housewares.
What?
I'm kidding. It's time for the next big section of the Bible. Sunday school lady?
Can I get a drum roll? The next section of the Bible is called the historical books. Why are they called historical books?
They're called hysterical books because everyone is running around screaming hysterically like this. Ah! Ah!
No, they're not hysterical books. They're historical books. Why? Because these 12 books cover nearly 1,000 years of the history of God's physical kingdom, Israel. Which books are they? The historical books are the next 12 books. Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, and Esther. In a Hebrew Bible, some of these books are in a section called the Former Prophets, and the rest are in a section called the Writings. They're the same books as in English Bibles, just organized a little differently. What on earth is that?
Oop, there he goes.
When you open the Old Testament and read it categorically, you'll find a dozen books that we are meant to read historically. They tell the tales of Israel, there's nothing metaphorical, and that is why these books are in a section called historical. Oh, Joshua and Judges and Ruth and both the Samuels, 1st and 2nd Kings in front of 1st and 2nd Chronicles, then Ezra, Nehemiah, and now there's just one more to fall. Esther is the final of the books we call historical.
That was weird. So there's a pirate
Yes.
in a hot air balloon
Yes.
singing about the historical books of the Old Testament.
Yes.
Sure, why not?
Works for me. Ahem. So these dozen books cover the history of Israel, God's kingdom on earth, from around 1400 BC all the way to 433 BC, almost 1,000 years.
That time in history was not very peaceful. There were a lot of battles going on. Thankfully, we're not living in a time with those kinds of battles right now, but we face our own kind of battles, like maybe difficult schoolwork, the coronavirus, fear, problems at home, insecurity, loss. There's all sorts of things that we're facing right now. So this January, we are going to look at some of these battles and see what God did for his people. In Psalm 24, verse 8, it says, "Who is this King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle." Now, God was strong and mighty to help the Israelites in their battles, and he is still strong and mighty today to help us with our battles. When we learn to trust God, he will give us victory. So, we've got some battle-themed bags. So they look kind of like this, and so these are going to have activities that go along with all of our videos for the month of January. So you can come and stop by the church office or come see me after church on Sundays to pick yours up. There'll be lots of really fun things in here like swords and bow and arrows and all sorts of things, so you don't want to miss out.